from the Rotary Club of Wakefield, Rhode Island to our 33rd annual Hot Air Balloon Festival. As a Rotary Club, we've been in existence in this part of Rhode Island for over 50 years, being of service above self, providing charitable contributions and support to people throughout our community and throughout the world. Rotary is an international organization, and we focus from that we reach out helping those in need in our community, from helping paint at a welcome house to the Domestic Violence Resource Center to providing camperships to Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and YMCAs and fire victims in our community. We also work throughout the world in eradicating polio. We provide services and support to Cambodia and Guatemala and Haiti from our club as far as providing clean water. And this year we are focusing on new generation, which is making sure that our younger people, those in high school, college, and young professionals, see the value of Rotary as a community of being of service to others. And we're proud to be having our Hot Air Balloon Festival here. This is our big fundraiser, which allows us to bring lots of happy smiles and good fond memories to those from throughout the area, but more importantly, it provides us with the funds to let us do our good work of giving back to those in our community in providing scholarships and support. And I will turn it over now to Spencer, who is the person behind the scenes of the operation of the Hot Air Balloon Festival. Spencer?
Hello, my name's Spencer Seitz. I've been in the Rotary Club here for 15 years. This festival has been going on now actually for 34. Beth is too young to remember when we started because she was just really like this tall back then. Yeah. So the purpose for this festival is to raise funds to help those in need. What our Rotary Club does is we change lives and we save lives on a daily basis. That's the purpose. That's why we're here. That's why we do this. It would be a lot easier to stay home. It'd be much easier to write a check. But by doing it this way, we can get the community involved, we get others involved, and we can have a bigger impact and imprint on what happens in our world. As a festival chairman, it's really my job to bring all the different pieces together. And I've got tremendous co-chairs that run different parts of the event. What I want to do now is, we're going to bring Bud on second, but I wanted to have Steve White just speak briefly on all the attractions and all the great things he's brought that help bring people to the event. Steve?
And thank you, Beth. I am truly proud to be part of the Rotary here in Wakefield and Rotary International. This festival has gone on longer than any of us here today has been a member of Rotary or Rotarian. And over the last 10 years, we've made a great effort to expand and bring in attractions that are family friendly. Our core festival participant is a young family with young children. And once the family pays the entrance fee, many of the events are free, and we've made an effort to do that, to bring in the train ride and the bouncies and the fish pond. The great flying Walendas have been here in the past. We have the Cannon Lady this year. We've now added the barbecue, the balloon rides, the tethered balloon rides. Many attractions are free, in addition to other attractions like the carnival. You pay a little bit to get in, but our effort is to make this a fun event to attract people, raise money, also for our Rotary Foundation. A lot of the money goes into our foundation, which is a great asset to this community. So we've made a great effort to expand and make this a festival friendly to our families in the South County and greater Rhode Island area. And the newest attraction is this barbecue, which really is great fun and to me has been a great addition. Spencer?
Great. I want to give Bud just a little introduction. I don't want to steal too much of his thunder. He started with this idea probably about 18 months ago and has been working like a bulldog ever since then to get it put together. We tentatively thought about doing this last year, and it's kind of been our committee motto is, let's think things through and take a little more planning, a little more time. Don't rush something. Take your time and do it right. Well, you know what? Wow, it's been done right. And Bud's really been the bulldog that pushed this through. And I want to thank him for his efforts and let him explain to you all the things he did to bring this to fruition. Bud?
Thank you, Spencer. My name's Bud Farrier. I'm the event organizer for the Rhode Island State Barbecue Championships. I'm a member of the Wakefield Rotary Club. The genesis of this barbecue event really started about 2 years ago. I've always wanted to be a Rotarian, so I joined the club about 2 years ago. At the same time, I signed up to take a judge certification course through the Kansas City Barbecue Society up in New Hampshire. And when I became certified, one of the things I found out was that Rhode Island was the only state in New England that did not have its own state barbecue championship. So I knew, of course, we had this venue here at the Balloon Festival, and I submitted the paperwork to the Kansas City Barbecue Society so our club could get a sanction and become the sponsor of this event. The planning also started about 2 years ago. When I was started to judge competitions in New England, I started to meet the teams, observe how events were organized, tried to make note of the good qualities that I saw in other events, and decided I wanted to include that in our event. My main goal when I started to plan our event was to do it in such a way that the people who eventually came this year as competitors would say they really want to come back in 2013. So I've heard good things about our venue, of course. The competitors seem to be very happy about being here. It really started to come together shortly before New Year's this year, I think, when the competitive teams started to organize their schedule for this year. So, you know, I've been talking to these people on the phone. I've been emailing them back and forth, and that all came to fruition, of course, last Thursday and Friday when the vendors started to come in and set up, when the competitors came in and started to set up, and I was able to put faces to the names. It's all going to come to a culmination, of course, this afternoon at the event awards ceremony at 4 o'clock when we crown the first ever Rhode Island barbecue grand champion. Now this team is going to go in October 21st weekend to Lynchburg, Tennessee to represent Rhode Island at the national championships down at Jack Daniel's Hollow. And that event is really the Super Bowl of barbecue, if you will. I've really enjoyed doing this. I've really enjoyed doing this only because I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy having a little bit of chaos in my life. My wife is going to be very happy because the sticky notes are going to be off her cabinets in the kitchen. The computer room can get back to some sense of normalcy. I'm looking forward to it being over. I want to say also that next year the event organizers will be Glenn Zabolis and Jay Schottenberg from our club, and I hope they really have it as an enjoyable time as I had doing this. Thank you very much, Glenn.
Who told you that?
You've been volunteered.
Oh, volunteered, huh? Okay, yeah, right. All right. Okay, well, you know, it's funny you bring that up, okay, because my involvement here is, back up a little bit. I'm Glenn Zabolis, by the way. I'm also a member of the Wakefield Rotary Club, and this is my dear wife, Beth, by the way, also. And we go way back as Rotarians. I moved here to Rhode Island in 2006, just almost 6 years ago. And I was very heavily involved with Rotary in Merrimack, New Hampshire. As most people who are involved with barbecue around here know, that they put on a big rock and rib fest every June in Merrimack. And when I moved down here, I quickly became involved with this Rotary Club and saw what we were doing here with our festival. And then also we have balloons. The problem is balloons only fly early in the morning or late in the afternoon when the winds are favorable. So we needed something. We were always struggling with what can we do during the daytime when people come to the festival to entertain them and to make it interesting. And so
So when I became involved with this club, and the first thing I noticed that the Rib Fest in New Hampshire was a comparable event to this in terms of the type of people that come to the field and the vendors and the events that happen. And so I mentioned it to Spencer, and then Bud came into the club, and we said, well, whenever we take in a new member, we want to give him an assignment. So he was like the perfect man for the job. So Bud and I kind of put our heads together, and we went up to New Hampshire. Both of us went through the certification training for KCBS judging, and I learned a lot about barbecuing, and so did Bud, and we talked again over with the other organizers, and we figured this would be a good fit for our event. And as we see right now, it's certainly showing true. And I was proud to be at least part of this. I have to admit, I'm not the dynamo he is, so and I know he was joking about me doing this next year, so because there's no way I could fit in his shoes. But either way, this event, with the success of this festival, and then with all the barbecues, the competitors, the teams that are here, it helps our local economy, and it helps us as a Rotary Club to do the things that we do as Rotarians, and to raise money that can help people that are in need of this with what Rotary does.
Well, Beth, and then I'll give it back to you. One thing I'd really like to reiterate here, is we say we started this 24 to 18 months ago. We like to do things, launch them right and do them right. Again, Bud did most of the heavy lifting on this. This event is at capacity. All the competitive spots are filled. All the vendor spots are filled. That's a testament to the great work that Bud's done. And we have space here. There's a lot of space. So a lot of times when you start a new event, you're going to start this and grow it into something. We hit the ground running. We hit the ground at full speed. And that's exciting. We can only improve it from here, and we always learn. There's things that we'll do different next year that'll be better, but it's one heck of a start. So, Bud, thank you. Great work. Beth?
Okay. And thank you, team. I would like to say that as you see, the core of volunteers here from the Rotary Club, we are over 85 members, and we brought in many, many other different volunteers to make this happen. And it's kudos to everybody here. We all are committed to making a difference. It's high energy, but it's also very fun work and fellowship, and I think that's its spirit that keeps us alive. And when we have these new venues going on, what's the next idea so that we can continue the good work? I would like to also say that our community is behind this, and we're very grateful for the University of Rhode Island for allowing us and welcoming us to come back every year and work with us and watch and see what's happening so that we can make sure it's enjoyable for all. This year's motto for Rotary is peace through service. And when I watched the balloons going up yesterday morning early, I thought my word was how peaceful. It was quiet. But the other piece I saw is that we lifted the spirits of so many folks, young and old. When they're up there, their cares go away. We walked through all the barbecues yesterday, but I introduced myself to all the competitors. And I asked them how they started, and many of them was, the neighbor next door, a friend or a relative. We got this in our garage, and now we travel and we do this. So again, it's building and bringing community, and I really think that's what Rotary is all about, one community at a time, but around the whole world. So I'm thrilled to be part of this club, and I think this is just an amazing event with the weather. God was on our side, and we have one final day, and let the fun continue, and let those balloons fly tonight.
One of this balloon festival, this 34th annual balloon festival started with one of our members, Cody Fahey, and Cody passed away this past year, and we have dedicated this festival in his memory as the Cody Fahey Memorial Festival, and he was the guiding light and inspiration to us. He visited Arizona some 34 years ago and came back with this idea, and from that little germ they made $5,000 that first year, and it's grown to what it is today, a great community event. So this is in memory of our good friend and Rotarian member Cody.
Hi, I'm Steve Eastridge, pit boss of Meat It Slim's competitive cooking team. We're based out of Woburn, Massachusetts. I cook with my uncle Mike Frenzel. who works for Delta Airlines out of Cincinnati. He flies in every contest we cook. And also today is with us is Chad Humphrey of Humphrey's Chips and Chunks. Not only is he on my team, he's one of my sponsors. He provides us with wood and metal fabrication. I am a special educator Monday through Friday and 11 months out of the year. I'm off in August, and but otherwise I spend a lot of my summer weekends out on the competition barbecue trail in the Northeast. This year, right now, I'm in the middle of 7 in a row. This is my second contest out of 7, which will take place over 6 weeks. After that, I've got 2 in September, late September planned, and hopefully an invitational in mid-September. Earlier this year, I cooked Las Vegas in March. We took first place pork ribs, and then we cooked 2 local contests. I took reserve in 1. I say that 3 local contests, and we took reserve in 2 of those after Las Vegas. We do not. We have, in the last year, we have 4 reserve grand championships. We do not have a grand championship. I did cook the Royal last year, invitational from a invite the year before, and we took 11th overall. And we cooked Las Vegas. We cooked Jack Daniel's in 2010. That's my story.
Far back as my memory goes, he designed and built this cannon for myself and my sister, and we traveled together for several years, alternating who was the bullet and who was the operating individual. Once we became older and married, my dad built another cannon, my sister has her own, and I retained this one. I've traveled to 17 different countries and all over the United States many times. I absolutely enjoy my life and the fact that I get to raise my children the same awesome way that I was raised. I feel very blessed to meet great people like yourselves and do wonderful events like this one. What I'm going to do for you today is a distance of 125 feet. We're going to raise the barrel up to a 43.5, 44 degree angle. Generally, I like to shoot at a 45, but there's kind of gusts today, and that will eliminate any sort of issue. If a gust catches me down here, the cannon's like a windsock. It's up in the air and it's got flat sides, so it moves a couple inches on this side. 125 feet away, it becomes feet. So I don't like landing off sides in the net. That's when it becomes even more dangerous. So I'm going to stick with a nice safe angle of 43, which is still going to put me at my peak at about 47 to 50 feet high, which is pretty dang exciting if you don't mind what I'm saying. Anyway, my husband's almost ready inside, I'm certain. So I would just like to say thank you very, very much for coming out. I hope you enjoy it. I will be doing it again today at 3 and 5:30. So thank you and enjoy the show.
Here we go, up to the barrel. Now I'll be waiting for her to knock on the inside, which currently is 103 degrees in here. A little toasty. Once she knocks, I'll raise the barrel up to its height. There's my knock, here we go. As it climbs up, that's 10 degrees, barely a quarter of the way up. 15 and climbing. 20 degrees, just about halfway. She should be teetering at the tip of the barrel there, getting ready and into position. 40 degrees, another 3 to go. I'll have to get this just right. It looks like we're on 42.5, 43 degrees, right in between them. Right now it's up to you guys. Can you make enough noise to get Jennifer into the barrel? Right on your great sounding crowd out there. Now what you're about to see is Jennifer's going to look one last time. She's going to check the flags for wind. Then she's going to slide down into the barrel. Once she slides into the barrel, there'll be a moment of intense silence as we get all the safeties unhooked and get this thing ready to fire. When I come back on the mic, I'm going to ask everybody as loud as you can to count down. We're going to count down backwards from 5 to fire. Sounds like she's coming in. There'll be a moment of intense silence. We get the safeties unhooked and ready to fire. These are off. We're ready. Please cover your ears for the blast off. Everybody now with me on the countdown. 5, 4.
I accept my duty
to be a Rhode Island State Championship judge.
to be a Rhode Island State Championship judge.
So the truth, justice, excellence in barbecue, and the North American way of life, may be strengthened and preserved forever. Congratulations.
My favorite was 117. It was tender. It was nice tasting. I had two least favorites, number 126 and number 112. They were very, very salty.
Number 1 was my least favorite. Number 2 was good. Number 3 was great. Number 4 I liked as well. Number 5, very good, a little spicy. Number 6 was my absolute favorite. Wonderful piece of chicken.
I actually really enjoyed number 6. I think in the end was my favorite. The first one took me by surprise. While appearance-wise, I didn't like it. The taste ended up being one of my favorites, and also number 5 as well.
My favorite was number 6. I thought it was cooked properly, had some good heat. Number 5 was pretty good as well. My least favorite was probably 2 and 3. 1 didn't look so great, but it tasted pretty good. And number 4 was pretty much down the road, right down the middle.
So my favorite was number 2. It was very tender. It had a very nice taste. Appearance-wise, it looked very nice. My least favorite was probably number 1. It seemed to be overcooked, a little dry, a little salty. Like it didn't travel very well.
It was right on. Flavor was good. Least favorite, I would have to say number 4. It was a little bit too mushy, just kind of fell apart on me.
Alrighty, I liked number 1 and number 6. They just were cooked properly, smoked very well, taste very good. And I thought 3 was overcooked, and it really was kind of mushy and wasn't a very good pork flavor.
I liked 3. I thought the flavor and the tenderness were really good. I also liked 4. I thought the flavor was right on and it had just the right amount of spice. And I thought 6, my sample was just a little bit on the tough side. Okay.
Yeah, I liked actually 1, 3, and 4. But number 1 being probably my preferred. I think it had good taste, good tenderness, certainly good appearance. Number 5 was overcooked. Number 6 was undercooked, and number 2 was I didn't really like the flavor profile overall. But otherwise, pretty good set of ribs.
Okay, number 1, hands down, was perfect. Number 4 was overcooked. The flavor profile was really good. Unfortunately, it was way too done. And number 3 also had really good flavor profile. Number 6 was underdone. That's it.
You want it on? Just kind of, we'll spread it about when we get it. Put some on the chunks, not the You want to dip it, or you want to? Yeah, we can do that too. Pour some in the pan. I'll just dip it in the pan. Why don't I give them to you?
More and more.
Here, I'll just pull it out of my hand. Get a little color down at your right. Good?
Yeah.
Thought number one, I didn't like it too much. I think it's a bit too dry for me, hard to chew. That's why it's still on my plate. I like the last one the most, number 5. I thought it was the best texture-wise, and personally I like the flavor the most.
My favorite was, you had to come to me next, huh? Number 3. And the worst, I would have said, was number 4. Pardon?
Because?
I believe it was a little too well done. It was way too mushy.
My favorite was number 3. It had a nice smoky flavor and was cooked just the way I like it. And I'll pass on the worst.
Your least favorite?
I'll pass on that.
Okay.
My favorite was number 5. It was succulence, really. Number 3 was my least favorite. I got a tough piece.
Well, I liked number 5 as well. Absolutely delicious. I've never had better. It is tasty. It's moist. Someone knew what they were doing when they prepared that. My least favorite was number 3 as well. I thought it was dry. Tasted well. Was perhaps a bit dry.
I really liked 4 and 5. I'm going to pick 5 as my favorite, just because I liked the heat, the little bit of spicy heat that you get at the end. And my least favorite was the first one because it was very dry and it didn't have very much seasoning.
I just think he underestimates the dew point.
Yeah, obviously.
If we do well today, that's going to be my Facebook status. The barometric pressure was absolutely perfect today.
120.
West Kingston.
No, just Kingston.
Oh, Kingston.
Famous.
Well, your mom was saying it's Kingstown.
No, it's Kingston. Are we sure? Yes.
Here, grab me a thick top list.
Got a right hand and a left hand today.
I'm digging this. You want to become part of the team? Absolutely. Then I will share all secrets. I had a really good friend that was with us when we started. We did one contest together. I'd known this guy for 4 or 5 years. Did one contest together. I did ribs and brisket. Or I did pork brisket. Chicken and ribs. I got a call. I did the next book. We used to hang out all the time, and he was like, "Oh man, you gave me shit because my brisket was dry." I saw him like he was that petty. He was that petty. And so he was doing a practice run.
Taking a peek at what you're doing.
Okay. No fingers. I'll cut them off. He was.
Appearance.
Appearance is
You get
everything.
7. think that's too many. Take that out.
Then I got to clean off the front.
That's fine.
I'd have to say they're all my favorites, and the least favorite was this number 6 here because we didn't get to try one of them.
Though they're all fairly decent. My best or my favorite was probably number 5. I just kind of liked the flavor, and it wasn't too mushy like some of the other ones.
My preference was number 5 as my most favorite. Number 1 was my least favorite. I thought it was a little bit too salty.
I liked both 3 and 5. I guess 5 would be weighted a little heavier. And I guess my least favorite would be number 1.
I don't judge preferences. In KCBS, we don't judge favorites. So at the table level and judge level, we don't judge that way. That's up to the computer.